Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley, and this is episode number 102 of the Corona Diaries. Thank y'all so much for joining me for this great episode. We got two parts coming up for you, and weirdly, both of these parts recorded at a picnic table in a park. So this episode, a little different, but hey, it's COVID times, baby. We got to do what we got to do. First up is going to be me and Carter. We recorded this at Bronson Caves, or right near Bronson Caves, just up the road here in Los Angeles. And again, we were just kind of sitting at a picnic table, shooting the shit, and reading some of your Twitter questions that we still have coming in from episode 100. So we're still going through those, and thank y'all so much for sending them. And then after we speak to Carter, I'm then going to play the conversation I had last weekend in Victorville, California, sitting in Liberty Park out there in the beautiful desert wonderland that is Victorville, California, with my man, combat athlete, professional wrestler, all-around hilarious dude. If you've listened to our Butt Rock Gauntlets, you know the man. He is awesome. It's Justin Morales. So it's going to be us kind of catching up. And if you are not already signed up for the Patreon, patreon.com/thegoodspod, go ahead and get on it, because later this weekend I'm going to be releasing the episode that Justin and I recorded socially distanced at that exact same picnic table, all about Shaquille O'Neal's 1997 horrible box office bomb Steel. So definitely get on board the Patreon if you got the change laying around, and if not, hey, no big deal. Head over to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. That is the second best way to support the show. And now, here is Carter Glasscock and I at a picnic table in Los Angeles. I got an automated call today from a home security thing, but it's one of those where they make it realistic, and they're like, "Hi, it's Mike. How are you?
Hey, what's up, dude?"
Literally, it's one of those, but you're like, it's a recorded thing, and he's like, "Well, hey, let's talk about your home security system."
Dude, before we get into that, and I really do want to get into that because I've missed you, bro. Let's talk about your home security system. Like, when they add the ums in there.
Yeah, it's so fucking annoying. By the way, we are recording out of doors, so if you hear us flapping our arms wildly, it's because there are yellow jackets flying around this picnic table.
Fucking swarming them. Like, they are fucking everywhere.
It's My wild.
God. It's a thing too with like I will get freaky on a fly, but these are yellow jackets. Like, I've been afraid of them since childhood, and they're swarming my head.
We're in Bronson Park here in Los Angeles, which is we're actually just below the trailhead that goes up to Bronson Caves, which is some man-made caves up there in the side of the rocks up there. If anybody's ever seen the original Adam West Batman, that is the Bat Cave that the Batmobile always drives out of in the old Batman show.
Man, I'm telling you. I almost want to take a tour with you and put on a fake mustache and stuff, just so you wouldn't know it was me, because I'm a master of disguise, and then I'd just throw out random places. Like, what is this place in Culver City? And you'd be like, oh, well, this happens to be where Mike Love got a sandwich. And I'm like, motherfucker.
There is a spot in Culver City that's the arcade from Tron.
Duly noted.
I had to take someone there one time. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, I've driven through Culver City, and I was like saying to Carly, I was like, I wouldn't mind living here, I guess. And she was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, they called, and unfortunately with those automated guys, you can't just do the thing that I like to do with the the Social Security guys or
tell me more
car insurance guys. With those, you can just hit one and it'll take you to the live operator, and then you can just fuck with them. But with that call, I have to actually sit through the whole thing where he's like, "Would you like to know more?" And you go, "Yes."
Oh, yes.
Then they send you to the guy.
God, yes, I do.
So I went all the way to the live guy. I got past the recording. I get to the live guy, and the live guy is like, "Oh, hi. First question I have is, do you own your home?" I was like, "Yes." Well, no. Well, okay, so here's the thing. My wife owns the home.
That's a loaded question.
I literally started going in, and I was like, well, my wife owns the home, but you see, we're in the process of uncoupling at the moment. And the guy's like, oh, well, if you don't own the home, then we can't. I was like, no, but I need protection. I was like, this woman is crazy.
You got to understand, we're in the process of, I'm in the process of being on the singles market again.
I literally told him, I was like, I need a home security system to keep my wife who owns the home out of the home.
I need a security system for all my weights because I'm putting on a lot of muscle because I am ready to fuck again.
He was like, I heard him giggle a couple of times when I was like telling him.
Yeah, he probably made his day. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he was like, I told him, I was like, I just need to keep this woman away from me. He's like, well, sir, if you don't own the home. And normally at that point they just hang up. But this guy just like, he kept on the line. So I just
run
started.
That clock. Like, how close to lunch are you? Just run the clock.
Oh, yeah. So I just started going like, like that until finally he did hang up on me. But I was like, I need the police. Wow. I need the police.
I'll tell you what. I've said it before about that home security place. They don't really care about the people they're selling to. You were clearly someone who needed a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did he offer that to you? No,
he
laughed at your plight.
He kind of giggled at me and then he hung up on me. But yeah, I've been having fun with those people. It's the best.
Oh man, I applaud. See, like every time I watch you take like an automated call. Or like it's a thing of beauty because to me I'm just like, no, how did you get this number? No, I don't know what porno I went on my phone that made you get this number. But don't do it. This is illegal. Like I almost cry when telemarketers. At first, I think it's someone like, hey, are you remember that place you applied to months and months ago? We're ready to give you that job now.
The one I've been doing recently is when it's the health insurance people, and whenever you talk to the health insurance people, they're always going to ask the same question up top, which is the plan that you want individual or family? And so my new gimmick I've been doing is when they ask that, they go, so this is going to be individual or family? I'm like, listen, it's going to be both. Because I don't want them on my insurance. I'll pay for them, but they are freaks. I want my own gold plan, and I will put my family on the cheapest option you have. And they're just like...
I got 3 boys, 3 beautiful boys. All 3 of them are skydiving snake handlers.
They're hellions.
They're hellions. They're all cocaine-fueled skydiving snake handlers. And can I tell you something? What's your name?
Hey.
What's your name? Ryan? I'm not paying for it, Ryan.
I live a good Christian life, and they are crazy.
I haven't left this chair in a week.
And I don't intend to.
I don't intend to, Ryan.
Yeah.
How's the love life, Ryan? Just dive deep. You know?
They don't usually let you get that far.
No.
They'll hang up as soon as you say it.
What's your name? As soon as you add a personal touch to you wasting their time.
Oh, yeah. But
they're wasting your time. Fuck them. You know?
We just, watch this segue. So we just ate some Pollo Campero and we disposed of our garbage properly.
Yes.
Unlike this story that comes to us from, I believe, Alaska. And this just popped out of me because the murderer in this tale has the exact same name as a really close friend of mine. So it's pretty funny.
Murderer Carter Glasscock.
No, it's... and I'm not even going to read the whole article. Basically, this guy killed his Russian mail-order bride. And he got caught because he left... KFC wrapper at the crime scene, which had his name and most of his debit card on the receipt.
Jesus. What a fucking life to be a Russian mail order bride, to escape Russia, and then to come here and be murdered by some asshole in a KFC parking lot.
Yeah, well, they found her in the woods, but I think he dumped the body and the KFC trash in the woods. It's a terrible situation, but you're gonna see why I wanted to share those. So this is from 48 Hours investigates. So
sure.
So first of all, they traced the receipt back to Will Hargrove, and I'm good friends with a guy named Will Hargrove.
Seems like a pretty pick a name out of a hat kind of.
For sure. Yeah, I texted Will as soon as I saw it. I was like, "What did you do?"
Like if you write a screenplay and the lead character's name is Will Hargrove, you're like, that's believable.
Yeah. The woman's name, by the way, is Anna Repkina. So in the days after Repkina's death, Hargrove exhibited some rather peculiar behavior. He went on a bizarre internet deep dive. Quote, He is researching time travel, said Detective Chris Dale.
It always comes back to time travel.
He saves...
I'll tell you what, the white whale of losing your fucking mind is trying to pursue time travel.
They call that the Cher conundrum, if I could turn back time.
Yeah, it's called Marty McFly syndrome.
He is researching time travel, said Detective Chris Dale. He saved screenshots of web pages that show you how to do a particular spell to travel back in time. And we also see communication through WhatsApp in which he was trying to ask for help in how to travel back in time. Hargrove said that he wanted to correct a horrible mistake that his quote-unquote best friend made.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so desperate to get this information that he offered his mortal soul as a reward to strangers on the internet who might be able to help him. First of all, that's not enough in these times.
When you're on a suicide mission like this, it is best to enlist the help of the internet.
Souls are cheap at this time. We need cash. Yeah.
I mean, that's so cryptic. His best friend made a huge mistake. I love that. What does that mean?
I want to live long enough to have some random stranger hit me up and just be like, dude, can I please get a spell to go backwards in time? Like, somehow I've reached the rarefied era that I want to live in where people are asking me these questions.
I mean, it's all about starting up a small business, and it's hard right now.
Yeah, so obviously the murder is terrible, but boy, what a funny thing. They found him in the stupidest way because he left his name and debit card number at the crime scene. But then the even funnier layer is like, you already are arrested, and then they release that like, oh, and also this guy's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Gullible as fuck.
Yeah, his time travel adventure. I mean, there's so many different layers of crazy on there. I think he was just trying to find like the proper the cat told me to do it time travel thing that just fit him, just being completely mentally unhinged.
Maybe, but usually when people get busted for things of this nature, it's because they're Googling like how to get blood out of clothes or how to dispose of a body. But in this case, it was the craziest thing you've ever heard.
Well, if only he had a flux capacitor.
I know. Also, that's not how... You don't get a wizard for time travel. Like, I mean, maybe if he's watching like some Doctor Strange, some too many Marvel movies and stuff. But generally, time travel is not about spells; it's about quantum physics.
If I consult a self-proclaimed wizard, it's probably because I'm buying a samurai sword from a flea market or some shit.
So this was I saw this on Facebook, and it was the California Department of Public Health has released its guidelines for the holidays.
It should just be one word: don't.
Yeah, it really should. Yeah, exactly. But
just don't.
I would say most of this is pretty reasonable. Number one, attendance gatherings that include more than 3 households are prohibited. So don't bring a shit ton of people to your house.
As these yellow jackets are swarming on us, don't do that to your grandmother who is barely alive.
Gather outdoors, reasonable. Don't attend gatherings if you feel sick. Practice physical distancing. Wear a face covering. Keep it short. Gatherings should be less than 2 hours. The longer the duration, the risk of transmission increases. But this is the one I really wanted to focus on. And first of all, someone posted this, and they were like, the whole reason I saw this in the first place was not from the state of California, but in fact, one of my mom's insane, conservative friends posted it. It was like, and all it said was, it was a link to this, and it just said California, and then it had 3 sick emojis. Like blah.
Oh, like the smiley face barfing?
Yes. Yeah. And I did just want to read this comment from Tracy Thorne Morton commented on this person's sharing of this article. I'm so glad we don't live there anymore. ... I keep on telling my family that California is the laughingstock of Alabama. It's like, you know what? I'm more than fine being the laughingstock of Alabama.
California is the laughingstock of Alabama and Mississippi.
It's like, we don't care. This is the one that this is the reason I thought this was funny. I wanted to share it. I just want to read all of rule number 7, and this is the final rule. Rule number 7: rules for singing, chanting, or shouting at outdoor gatherings. Again, these are the guidelines for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Every person I see out in California shouting, I'm like, they are adhering to strict guidelines. It seems like they're not completely just unhinged.
The shouting is funny because it's Thanksgiving, so classically people tend to yell at each other. Yeah.
Oh, how delicious! You don't have the gravy. You don't get blind drunk and yell that kind of shit about.
Yeah. Power bomb my Uncle Mike into the table.
Who wants seconds? Just a family full of professional wrestlers.
Yeah. People arguing over whether pumpkin pie should be hot or cold.
Hot, cold.
So singing, chanting, shouting, and physical exertion significantly increases the risk of COVID-19. And I don't do any of that.
No, I
singing.
I find a couch and I call fives on it, and then I sink into it over the course of a night.
Yeah, and then I maybe wake up or not. Chanting's the really funny one because it does bring to mind like druids or something. Just doing the
rectus domine, rectus, turkey stuffing, rectus.
Yeah, standing over the green bean casserole. Oh, stop!
It just seems like it's triggered at alternate lifestyles. Shame on you, CDC.
I guess. Yeah. Physical exertion. I guess. I've been told, and of course my family, I don't think has ever done this.
Little running stuff?
Yeah. People like play football or something sometimes in the yard on Thanksgiving. Maybe they toss the old pigskin around, maybe, but like.
I guess.
Who
does
Who's
this?
there that early?
There's enough people in my extended family to a couple of football teams.
Yeah.
And no one's doing that.
No. We're chilling. We're straight chilling all day.
It wonders what specific targeted group that they're talking about.
They keep repeating this. Like, okay, this increases the risk, blah, blah, blah. Because of this, singing, chanting, and shouting are strongly discouraged.
No Thanksgiving sacrifices.
Yeah.
No ritualistic sacrifices.
Yeah, no sacrifices. No, the entire family just going, this is awesome.
Do not grab your grandmother by the ears and go, yeah, into her nose and mouth. You're stuffing rules. I love you. I do that before they pass. If you find someone over the age of 75, please do them a favor and grab them by the ears and yell "I love you" into their wrinkly face, their wrinkled egg of a face.
This next one is so funny. People who are singing, shouting, chanting, or exercising are strongly encouraged to maintain physical distance. If you are exercising at Thanksgiving, fuck you.
That is classic 3 days after material. You go to feel bad. You don't go, like, you're not correcting the ship mid-Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's like crazy. Like, yeah, it's like I carbo load specifically for this day.
That's like going on a cleanse while you're also on a cocaine bender. It's like you just do the bender.
Yeah.
And then be depressed in a darkened room for 3 days and then get back out there and be somebody.
People who are singing, shouting, chanting, or exercising are strongly encouraged to maintain physical distance.
It seems like they're just covering all their bases here. Or it's like, well, my family, we were all having a big orgy and we all got COVID.
That's what I think.
CDC didn't say anything about that.
Someone at the California Health Department just has the weirdest family.
Yeah.
Like they're just insistent. Like they would be fine to just say like, hey, maybe don't sing Christmas carols, because I think that's the only possible singing that's going on.
I think what they're referring to here specifically is a pretty time-honored Thanksgiving tradition, and that is backyard mud wrestling. If you think about it, it all checks out, you know? Have you ever been to a mud wrestling event where people were just silent?
Oh, no. That'd be creepy. Yeah, well, it's maybe
maybe if they were just chanting "Rectus Domine."
Maybe in Japan, because the classic thing about Japanese pro wrestling is that the crowds are very quiet. They're very respectful, and then they'll.
So you can hear the guys going, "Ah!
Yeah.
Ah!"
If you watch,
watching it now too, where they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna put you in a headlock."
Well,
why?
They fixed it actually. I'm gonna talk about this.
They do like football stuff, where they pipe in crowd noise.
They now have a thing. I'm gonna talk about this a little bit later with our friend Justin Morales. They now have a thing, WWE, called the Thunderdome, where they are no longer in that little gym where they were at WrestleMania. They now have the Allstate Arena in Orlando, and completely surrounding the ring is about, I'd say, 5,000 TV screens with people on them.
Okay.
And then they basketball style, and they pump in the music or the chanting and the what is it? The singing, chanting, and physical exertion. They pump all of that in from the WWE video game. So
pump people just like mushing their face against the screen.
Yeah, kind of
licking it.
Yeah. They've obviously had a few issues with random people on the screen putting up cardboard cutouts of Chris Benoit and inappropriate things like that.
Shameful.
But in Japan, if you watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, the crowds are very respectful. They're very quiet, and then if they like something, they'll clap and stuff like that. But they're not like shouting and chanting and shit like Americans do. And I wonder if mud wrestling is the same, or is it such a dignified culture that they don't have mud wrestling there? But
yeah, it's probably something that seems like it's
pretty dumb American.
It's a trash culture thing to have.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they have a history and a culture there. They don't need Jello wrestling.
It's like they like the technique of wrestling and
right. It's about the sport,
athletic artistry of it, and all, and the high theater. Whereas mud wrestling is just like, can you get a boner from two people wrestling in poop? Can you?
People who are singing or chanting this is still going, by the way. People who are singing or chanting are strongly encouraged to do so quietly at or below the volume of normal speaking voice. So
Rectus Domine.
That's what I was thinking.
Rectus.
It's just someone. Rectus. This is awesome. This is that's so creepy.
Turkey. God, how many indications do you need to have to just skip Thanksgiving?
I mean,
like, unless everyone's whispering creepy chanting.
Yeah, and then finally, instrumental music is allowed as long as the musicians maintain at least 6 feet of physical distance. Musicians must be from one of the 3 households. Playing of wind instruments, and then parentheses, any instrument played by the mouth, such as a trumpet or clarinet, is strongly discouraged.
Is this just for Venice, or
I swear to God,
that is amazing.
It's the.
I mean, like,
hey, do you have a bassoon? Put it down. Stop blowing vapor into us with your bass clarinet.
Yeah, if you've had 7 months, now, you should have taken up an instrument. I think
that's what I was thinking.
Learn a language, learn an instrument. That would have been the best use, I think, of the last 7 months.
Yeah, well, these guidelines, like I said, are meant to cover Christmas and Thanksgiving. So, like I said, I think Christmas caroling is the one thing that they are kind of talking about. Like, hey, maybe 7 random people going house to house and singing loud songs into people's faces.
Into people's doorways.
Yeah, maybe don't do that this year, which is more than reasonable.
Who likes Christmas caroling to begin with, other than psychos?
I've always thought it'd be funny to do. I've never really done it much, but...
yeah, I've never done it. I've never had anyone come to my house to do it, honestly.
I feel like had back when I was a kid, I think, it was like a church, the Methodist church or something would walk around and do it around our neighborhood, but... yeah, it's not a normal thing, but it is a funny thing to think about doing.
I mean, honestly, the real holiday that sucks, that has to be steamrolled over this year, is Halloween, the best holiday of the year.
Oh yeah.
And it is all about sweaty, close knit interactions with people.
Yeah. Oh, I've never done more yelling in a person's ear than on Halloween, because it's always the loudest fucking music, and just having to be like, oh, wow, you're a banker now? That's crazy.
No, Borat. I'm supposed to be Borat. Yeah, it is kind of cold. Yeah.
This is some guy's dressed up in something where he doesn't have a shirt and he's complaining about the weather. It's like, buddy, they make a weather channel for a reason. But yeah, I just think whoever wrote this has a really weird family, or someone who had an input in this where they were like, listen, I know you're laughing at me, but there are people who, they do track and field events after Thanksgiving sometimes.
This just seems like covering one's bases. I mean, it's like that sketch from the Dana Carvey show where he was like, Gerald Ford dead today being eaten by bears. It's like the same thing where it's like this guy just wants to go on vacation, and he's about to finally, the CDC guy has been giving us updates for nonstop for 7 months, and he just wants a break.
Yeah.
He's like, also don't put your grandmother on a unicycle with you. What the fuck else do I have to say? Can I please get a goddamn break? You know what to do by now. It's been 7 months. Like, wear the mask and social distance. I don't know why I have to say all these things all the time.
Playing of wind instruments is strongly discouraged. So, listen, I know you wanted us to all hear your piccolo that you've been working on.
Always the most punk rock of instruments, the flute. The man's always trying to hold you down from picking up a bassoon and playing, or an oboe.
Look at us, the laughingstock of Alabama.
It's the laughingstock of Alabama, which is such like, I love it when people who are clearly very lonely go on there. It's like, I speak for the entire state of Alabama when I say you are the laughingstock of Alabama. And it's like, she doesn't give a shit about COVID, but she also hasn't been around anybody just normally for 4 years.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I just go to Kroger and linger.
Oh, yeah, I linger. I talk to the cashier who has a mask on, and we talk about how big of a laughingstock California is, and he's like, please move the line along, ma'am. And I'm like, well, did you know California, you know what they're doing out there? They're trying to surf with masks on.
They are trying to stop people from playing the cornet.
It is my constitutional right. It is their forefathers.
She has the saxophone on her while she's saying it.
Oh, dude, yeah, the forefathers, like, she has like a T-shirt that's made with like the Mount Rushmore presidents all playing in like a Jethro Tull-esque like wind like jazz rock combo. Someone out there listening to this, make that shirt or
please
draw that up. The Mount Rushmore presidents making just all playing.
They're all playing saxophones. They're playing all the different saxophones. So we got Washington on the soprano sax. We got Jefferson on alto. And we got Roosevelt on tenor, and then we got Lincoln on, I guess.
Can we have Lincoln on the?
The slide whistle.
The slide whistle and like the shock jock instruments.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, and then under it just says the laughing stock of Alabama. Please, someone do that.
It's like good, like a meth syndicate shirt, but it doesn't have a point of reference.
No. Well, and speaking of which, I got this meme. I shared this on my Twitter. That is the most confusing meme. Like I was saying, it's like the MC Escher painting of memes because you can't figure out. You're like, okay, well, where did that staircase start? What does this mean?
Sure.
And it's a picture of.
But is that the point?
There are 3 photos on this of Kamala Harris. One, she's dressed like a police officer with her arms crossed, and then there's
pretty bad photoshopping right there.
It's a really bad Photoshop. She's dressed like a police officer, and then the other picture is her arresting what looks to be about a 4-year-old child, and then kind of, Mufasa-like floating in the clouds above in the background is her laughing. And then it has one of them, Blue Lives Matter flags with the blue stripe, and it says #BackTheBlue, #NoMatterWho. And I looked at it for like an hour just trying to figure out like what side are they on? What does it mean?
Yeah,
it's and I think it's just a shit post. And if that's the case, I think hats off because I tried to figure that out.
I think it's trolling. I think it has to be.
Yeah, but it's also like not. It's the kind of trolling like I guess nihilistic sort of trolling where it's like they don't actually have a side. It's like this. If I just throw this down, it'll make everyone either mad or confused.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like the #BackTheBlue. Theoretically, if you're like a hardcore leftist, you're not a back the blue person, but you're also not a Kamala Harris person either. So this wouldn't piss you off. It would just be weird.
Yeah, it's just funny. Well, it's maybe it's reacting to that where it's like, everyone's like Kamala's a cop and all that stuff. And, I think this is a play on. This is a manifestation.
Right, it's a play on that. But again, who's it meant to like be an affront to? Yeah, it's so weird.
Maybe it's meant to be like, this is what. Hardcore leftists think of Kamala Harris.
But the right-wing people hate her, too. It's so bizarre. Anyway, that's on my Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, we still got questions.
I responded to the Violent Wanderers one. I never respond on Twitter, which I don't know why. I'm just lazy. It has nothing to do with anybody. I'm just lazy. But, the Violent Wanderers, I think it was Ian, commented that he had a nightmare. They had a roast battle with me.
Ooh,
and that they bombed. False, though. I'm horrible at roast battles. I just get really overly mad and I start shaking. I'm like, oh, why we gotta fight? Fuck you. Roast battles have always like intimidated me. It's like that part of comedy that I like talking shit like everyone else does.
Yeah, sure.
But like doing it publicly and making it this whole like time to like see how fucking funny you are, dude. Like let's fucking like,
right, right.
An 8 Mile situation. I'm like, I just want to be silly.
Well, yeah, and plus it's like I got into this because I don't like confrontation. I like to be the only person talking in the room.
Yeah, like the only time I'll go nuclear during a set is if someone is chitter chattering during my set. That's it.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's my whole.
If someone was like, if someone like got me in a roast battle and made a really cutting remark, I'd be like, I'm sorry. I'll work on that.
Right.
But yeah, the whole like, I know a lot of people are good at it and it's very funny, but I don't think I would.
Oh man, it's my favorite thing to watch and the thing I never want to participate in.
Same. Like,
every time I do, and I like doing the show. It's Ben Sawyer's game show, Perfect Timing. They have like a roast section of that show.
I was always horrible at that section.
And I literally, because I'm always, the idea of that show, and whenever it comes back, if you live in Nashville, definitely go check it out. But they have, it's like 2 stand-ups versus 2 improv people versus 2 sketch people. And usually I'm coming from Alabama and I don't know the scene that well. So I don't really know enough about the people to actually roast them personally. So I literally just go after improv.
It'd be the opposite for me because it would be all of like, the Nashville comedy scene is pretty tight-knit.
Right, sure.
And so you know the people too well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
oh, man.
To where it's not even very funny to a crowd. You're just like, this person's an alcoholic. They're like, oh, dear.
Yeah. I just make fun of them for being in improv. That's because that's the only where.
Yeah, because they do it at Third Coast, and what are you going to do?
I have nowhere else to go. I don't know these people.
As someone who is actively pursuing doing improv, there's nothing better than making fun of someone for doing improv.
It's hilarious. Yeah. One of them guys actually finally, after years, and I'm talking my entire life, because I'll give credit to my mom, right? She gave me a weird name, but it's not.
I can relate.
But it's not super easy to make fun of,
Right, yeah. Hey, mine rhymes with fart or asscock. So
That's what I'm saying.
A different.
You're in a different boat than me.
Rivers Langley is cool. It's like Rivers is just cool for obvious reasons, and then Langley sounds like MI6 sort of
right.
government agency, secret agent kind of shit.
Yeah, but for years, playground shit. The closest anybody could come would be like livers or like. And then of course you get the really clunky one that was always like, why are you Rivers? You're fat like the ocean. And I'm like, that is so sweaty. Like, it's not even like, you could just call me fat ass then.
Yeah.
If you're gonna that's such a long way to go.
That is such a nervous boner of a.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm sorry, fart or asscock, that slips right in. That is
I got to be honest with you.
Round peg in a round hole.
I got there before other kids did.
Oh, really?
Other kids were just like, you're fucking fat. that was it.
We should have switched.
I was like, farter, asscock. Come on. And they're also just like, glass cock. I bet you were very sure to never piss your pants in public because Rivers.
Oh, that's literally right now, this moment is the first time that's ever even occurred to me.
Of it?
Yeah. But at that, and I'm sure you would know who they were. I cannot remember who it is. Maybe if Ben Sawyer's listening, you can remind me who was on that team. But somebody, after 32 years, got me with one, and it was hilarious. It was like, Rivers Langley is here tonight. Rivers, of course, is named after the body of water he'll be discovered in. And it was at the time where I had the really huge beard and the long hair too, so I was just like looking like really fucking sweaty and gross, and I was like, and I laughed my ass off. I was like, dude, fucking.
Oh, was it Matt Boyd?
I can't write. It was
or Chance Willie or something.
No idea.
Bunch of killers.
Man, it was very funny. It was very fucking funny.
Oh man, yeah, what a great show that was. I missed that.
But yeah, the Twitter questions there. We got so. First up, this is from Paul. I don't think this is a question, but it is a compliment, so I'm going to read it.
Oh, we love compliments.
At Paul Gleason, I don't have any questions. Just thanks for keeping going. I'm now into the second lockdown here in Ireland, except the sun now sets at 5, so everything ye do is appreciated. So shout out to our friends in Ireland there.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah,
desperately want to come back / maybe live there, depending on what happens November 3rd.
I would love to
Paul, sneak me in. Please, can you sneak me in? I will live in Ireland in a second.
Yeah, I'd love to visit. I've never been.
Oh, it's gorgeous. The people are nice. For some reason, when I went, every American person, before I left, was like, oh man, it's beautiful, but that food. And then I went, and I literally had some of the best food I've ever had. I was like, do you not like beef stew? Do you not like shepherd's pie? Do you not like Irish breakfast, which is just, let's have 7,000 calories before 9 a.m.? It's amazing. It's one of the greatest places I've ever been.
They say the same thing about like food in certain southern cities. It's like,
oh sure,
it's but it's great. Like that's where you find like the meat and threes and shit.
Yeah, well, there's whatever. It's
more
not
home
gonna...
cooking kind of stout, more tasting food, I guess.
Well, that's the thing is like they're like, oh, the food's kind of bland. I'm like, have you been to Washington State?
Dude, yeah.
Washington
every time
State.
I've been to the north, like shockingly, like when I went to this city called South Haven in Michigan, and it's like on this harbor and everything. It was very pretty. The worst food I've ever had.
Yeah.
Ever. Like they couldn't even drown something in mayo and make it good. Like it was just like, it was like it was food poisoning. Like the nicest place you could get like food poisoning from a burger. It was terrible.
The best food I had was in Seattle, and it was because I ate at a Lebanese restaurant and a Vietnamese restaurant. Those were awesome. Every other food experience I had up there was just shockingly underwhelming.
I haven't spent enough time in the Pacific Northwest to get a read.
Point is, love Ireland. Shout out to Ireland. I want to come back and just eat fucking Guinness beef stew.
Can't wait to visit Ireland.
I was there 3 years ago. I keep seeing Facebook memories keep popping up. I was like, God damn it. The Apocalypse and Review podcast, shout out to my friends there in Virginia. They say, would you rather have the holodeck from Star Trek or be able to use the Force from Star Wars? I think the Force is the obvious one because the holodeck is
the holodeck you can
it's an illusion.
Well, the whole thing about the whole thing from holodeck is it's not beaming up places, right? What is the holodeck? I admittedly don't know.
The holodeck is if I understand this correctly, I could be completely wrong. And if
it's a next generation thing. I've just seen the first 60 seasons.
I mean, no. In the the utilitarian function of the holodeck is so that the writers could not be on a spaceship for an episode and do like they would do things like where Picard was a detective in like a noir, like a 30s noir,
right? But
it's a fantasy realm essentially that you go onto this holodeck and then you kind of just are able to like live in a fantasy.
Okay. Well,
so it can be anything. So they can do like knights and dragons and whatever.
So let's extrapolate that a bit. So you could live in a fantasy, and do whatever you want in the fantasy,
and you're fully mobile. I mean, I believe Picard, he's like making out with people and shit. So I mean, you can get your rocks off in there too.
You can construct the fantasy to how you see fit from the holodeck.
Yeah.
Or you can convince anybody of anything and have superhuman powers in this present.
Yeah, and be able to jump super high and make things explode. I mean, it depends on...
I would say pre-COVID, the Force, hands down.
Yeah.
In COVID, holodeck kind of sounds better.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's true. Also, I would like to point out that it seems like, at least if you just watch the new films, and Force Awakens and on, the Force is kind of the bad guy of all those movies. It seems to ruin lives.
It ruined lives. Yeah, it destroys families. It's like this. I don't know what it's like. Lord of the Rings. It's like the thing that it starts wars.
Yeah, it seems to be the Force seems to be malevolent almost. Anybody who holds a significant amount of Force power is usually target A1 for elimination, or it just seems like it's just bad vibes, man.
I mean, it's like telekinesis, moving shit with your mind. I can get up and get it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fine. I get the main allure, I think, to having the Force is doing the whole like these are not the droids you're looking for, that thing. Like, is it convincing? But what does that say about you? Because if you do that, if you just want to lie to people constantly and do whatever you want, I think if you want the Force, you're a bad person. Because the holodeck thing, you're not hurting anybody. The holodeck,
That's true. Yeah, it's
contained. No one's really getting hurt. You could live out your most violent GTA fantasies.
Right, it's like Westworld.
Like Westworld.
Yeah.
But which brings up another thing, like how real are the simulations?
Right. But in this, I don't think they're not like androids. I think they're like in your head.
It's a computer program.
It's like Total Recall. Like they're implanting a memory essentially in you.
Right. And then with the Force, you're actually manipulating people's lives.
Right.
You're actually getting away with shit. Wow. I was
good question.
Yeah, that's a great question. I was immediately going to say Force just because that's the one I knew, but now knowing the holodeck, I'm going to say holodeck for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe as a younger person, I'd be like Force so I can take the world by storm. But
right.
In the 30s, I'm just like, I just want to like relax in a bubble bath of the mind until I die. So that the holodeck sounds sensational.
Yeah. let's be real, the side of the Force you want is the dark side, but that's the side that like corrupts you and shortens your life and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
so
you end up looking like a craggy Eggman at the end.
Right. It's like, dude, I want to be able to shoot lightning out of my fingertips, but not at the expense of my skin.
Yeah, you're gonna look like a finger that's been dipped in water for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, come on. So, good question there. And by the way, check out Apocalypse in Review. They got a great show over there. I've been on a couple episodes. I spent nearly 3 hours with them talking about Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh God, I got to see it.
It's
Goldblum's front and center for that one.
Oh
right?
yeah, it is horrifying. But it's also this is what I said on the show. It is a huge swing and a miss.
Yikes.
They went for it, to their credit.
Well, so it's at least interesting. Hold your interest.
Yeah, it's an interesting disaster. While you're watching, you're just like, this is a mess. But they're really going for their world building, which is more than you can say for most sci-fi sequels.
I love that as opposed to the fan service.
Yeah, I mean it's not good, but it's
right. But it's memorable.
I don't even know if it's memorable, but as you're watching it, you're like, this is something.
This has gone horribly wrong.
Really trying here. Cody Marley at Cody Marley says,
"Oh, renowned Nashville comedian extraordinaire Cody Marley."
Yeah, talk about the size of the current World Series Home Depot worker-looking players compared to the juice heads of the Maguire Sosa Roids era. Also, speak glowingly of me. I actually added him on Twitter because I figured it was somebody you knew based on who they were following.
Yes.
I was like, it's got to be a Nashville guy.
Cody Marley is he's a hilarious comic who he goes up and he goes, "Here are the jokes," and
I love it. I love those.
Yeah, he kind of reads the cards off very Carson style.
Wait, he has cards? He goes up with cards?
He goes up with the cards.
That rules.
And he, he goes, "Hey, I'm Cody Marley, and here are the jokes." And everyone stops what they're doing and watches Cody's set.
That's awesome. God damn it. That's the ability I wish to have, honestly. Fuck the Force, fuck the holodeck. Would be able to write a joke that could fit on a card.
He's got a whole deck of them. And like, there's a couple of comedians like that from Nashville who I just love watching comics like that because like, you almost want to remember their set, not for your shit, but for everyday life when you just need a quick joke.
Yeah, and you can just be like, oh yeah, my friend so-and-so. Like out here, it's Raj Desai.
Yeah. Patrick Devine was one like that. He has a bunch of great one-liners. I love someone who can write just a shit ton of one-liners.
Dude, yeah. Raj Desai, check him out on our, we did an episode with him where he talked about when he managed a Pizza Hut. Yeah. And it was very funny.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. Everyone should. Yeah, Cody's great.
But yeah, he wants us to talk about baseball. And truth be told, I think Carter and I both discovered that the Dodgers had won the World Series when an inordinate amount of fireworks began going off, and both of us on separate sides of town went, I wonder what's going on right now.
Yeah, I was like, is it like a Halloween thing?
Yeah. Dia de los Muertos.
Does it start now?
Yeah.
I was on the way out to Pomona to go see just some movie at the drive-in. And it was just like exploding with fireworks. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And this also like in the area where like right before I left was just engulfed in smoke. So I'm just like, it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, like, talk about the size of the current World Series, because the baseball players are like kind of fat now, and that's the joke.
Sure, yeah.
But that is the history of baseball. Like,
look at Babe Ruth.
The Roids era, what he's talking about, Maguire Sosa, all that stuff. That's the anomaly. The anomaly is that these were like superior athletes. Like,
I think it's. I'll just say this. I think it's a bunch of guys with dad strength, like with inordinate dad strength.
It's
like
a bunch.
They have
of
a huge beer gut, and they're balding, but they can punch through a brick wall.
That is a great way to put it. Yeah, it is a bunch of guys with dad strength. But you look at like. Pick your favorite classic baseball player. Usually they're, if they're pitchers, they're like kind of skinny, tall guys that are like awkward looking. Like if you look
John
at
Smoltz.
go back to like the beginning. Fucking Satchel Paige, just like a really skinny, tall dude from fucking Mobile, Alabama, who could pitch like a motherfucker. But it's why that's America's popular sport, right? It's because it is very much the sport of the everyman. Most people could watch baseball and go, I could probably do that, even if they can't.
It's because at our essence, Americans are fat and lazy, and we always have been, and that's why people who defy this in order to go out and be go-getters during this time it's downright un-American.
Yeah, well, and they're like, it's, and that's the thing, and I'm not even like trying to take away from the athleticism of these people, because God knows I watch professional wrestling. There are a lot of fat guys who can move really fucking quick and are impressive athletes.
Sure,
but that has been a big thing on Twitter, is people like posting pictures of these baseball players being like, wow, look at this fat guy. It's like, dude, Mark McGwire doesn't look like, for the entire history of baseball, the way that guy looked, Jose Canseco, fucking Sammy Sosa, all them guys, they looked so much different than everyone else in the whole history.
They were also cheating.
Yeah, they were cheating, yeah. So
they were also completely cheating. Honestly, if you're going to keep Pete Rose out of like the Hall of Fame because he gambled on himself, and you're going to let those guys in who are juiced out of their brain, it's not fair. But also in this woke era that we live in, is body shaming much?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Hey,
like,
how about we don't body shame this multimillionaire, please?
Yeah, let's not body shame this very sensitive multimillionaire. Also, Babe Ruth. I mean,
yeah. He was drunk and fat.
Drunk and fat, and portrayed in a movie by John Goodman at his fattest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, it is baseball's natural. If baseball is America's national pastime, it is the Americans' national form.
Yeah.
It's just a balding, drunk, fat guy who can punch through a brick wall. Ben Franklin.
There we go. Yeah, Ben Franklin, exactly. But yeah, I mean, my relationship to baseball is basically, if it's on, I'll watch it. But here's the thing about LA, the Dodgers are owned by Time Warner Cable, so it's never just on. You have to pay for it. So
yeah.
I go see Dodger games if I randomly get a ticket, which happens from time to time. But for the most part, I don't follow it as closely as I did when I was a kid.
I don't care as much about baseball, so I don't really have like anything I could say about it. I will say though, I kind of lean towards Braves because that's who I liked when I was a kid.
That was who I grew up liking. I mean, the fact that I'm
very happy for everyone who's like stoked about, especially people who are from here, who are like, because it's been since like it's been like since '88. So it's a big deal for a lot of people who have or were either children or not alive,
for sure,
who are from here. So I totally get that.
Yeah. And honestly, if I was gonna follow it, this would have been the season, because there was only like 60 games or whatever instead of 100 and whatever. But
that's the other thing that's the other thing you don't want to like say too far on top. It's like, does it count really?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, that's what we
I mean, SEC football too. Believe me, my team, Alabama Crimson Tide, absolutely does not deserve to win anything this year. No one does. Like, it's a
stupid year.
Look, it's a stupid year, and I appreciate the distraction, but and I appreciate the distraction of sports. But it's like, if we're acting like this really counts, like this is a glorified scrimmage.
Yeah. But I mean, all the teams played. I don't know. I would say baseball counts more than.
Yeah, more than football.
Definitely more than
there
college
are whole
football.
Conferences that are not playing.
Right.
So I would say it's more official than any of the other sports.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the Rams to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And then for cases to still be down in California. Then we'll see who's the laughingstock of a laughingstock. We've had 3 national titles in all the major sports, and still it's down.
Yep.
But I mean, I may live to eat those words.
Joel Micah Harris at JM Harris Art asks, "Hey y'all, is there a scary movie that you watched way too young? Blue Sunshine fucked me up at age 4. Might be my earliest memory. My mom thought I was sleeping in the back seat at the drive-in, but I was not sleeping for a while after that."
This is a good question. I have 2. First is there was this friend of ours who used to bring his dad's tapes. This is how young we were. He had tapes.
Yeah.
And he would bring his dad's tapes over, and we would watch them at sleepovers at our house.
Yeah.
And he brought over Nightmare on Elm Street, and I saw that when I was like 8 or 9, and that No, I'm sorry. I was like 10. I was like 10.
Still,
nightmare fuel for years. I mean, literally years. Like,
right.
And but the one that really got me was he brought over Pet Sematary 2.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is we watch it as an adult. It's hilariously bad.
It's terrible. Yeah,
it's so funny. But the part that got me, which is maybe the funniest part, is this part where this fat kid who looked like me gets mowed down by an 18-wheeler. It is so fucking funny, and it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that, like, I had visions of that and Nightmare on Elm Street. Watched those kind of like at a tender developmental age, way too young, gave me tons of nightmares.
I don't really recall watching any like horror movies when I was too young, honestly. Like I think, you know, I grew up with no siblings, so that's definitely part of it. I feel like people with older brothers and older sisters maybe got exposed to that shit younger, but I was perfectly
It was always people's houses for me. Like people like show me the first R-rated movie or horror movie or whatever when I went over to someone's house.
Yeah, I feel like every sleepover I ever went to, we were always watching comedies. Like that was the big thing, was like dirty comedies more so. Like that was the taboo thing more so than horror movies.
Go watch Road Trip or something.
Yeah, no, we oh dude, I rented the movie Jury Duty so many times.
Everyone had like their Pauly Shore movie.
I know, and that's no one's Pauly Shore movie, but for whatever reason, that was the one. Everybody else is all about some son-in-law or in the army now, but we watch Jury Duty.
I was in the army now kind of person.
Yeah.
And Encino Man.
Oh, sure.
Everyone loves Encino.
I almost don't count, because that's a, you know,
it's more of a Brendan Fraser movie.
Well, it's not even just that. It's like he's in it, but that movie was made before the Pauly Shore movie was a genre.
I think it's like when you talk about your favorite Adam Sandler movie and you say Billy Madison, it's like you're not really trying. It's like that's everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
that's everyone's favorite Adam Sandler movie. I mean, like, which bad Adam Sandler movie is your favorite? Like,
Hubie Halloween, baby.
Dude, I loved it. I watched it at my brother's house and I laughed my nuts off. It was so funny. But yeah, before that I was going to say like Big Daddy or something. But Hubie Halloween was legitimately like. I mean, it's not a good movie, but it kind of cleared the air for all of his shitty Netflix comedies. And some of that.
Yeah.
When he's yelling at that dog who starts eating his own shit, it's a giggle fest.
This is the thing about Adam Sandler, at least in his Netflix era.
Yeah.
Almost, and I could be wrong here because I truthfully have not watched all of them, but the ones that I have seen, he's always playing a regular guy, just a regular guy trying to go about his regular day, and then something goofy happens. And
you know, I'm just it's like I'm like a firefighter or something. You know,
what was the one that he did with Chris Rock? I watched that one
the week of,
and it's like him and Chris Rock are supposed to be more or less just like normal dudes, and you're like, fucking have him be weird. And so that's why Hubie Halloween is like,
dude, like
even weird
even Sandy Wexler, it's like, do the voice, like be like an idiot man child, like
do something. It
doesn't work when you're like when you're a normal dude, then you should be like in a drama. Well, actually his dramas, he plays very damaged characters,
right? He's always acting weird in those too, and those are usually good. But whenever he's like, whenever he's just trying to be like a normal guy, and then every one of those movies,
the best time he's being a normal guy is in his stand-up when he's just doing one-liners,
right? And every time in those movies, there's one moment where he like blows up and does like a classic Adam Sandler, like, "Why are you doing that?" Right? But it only happens like once every movie, and you're like, "No, make that the whole movie." And so Hubie Halloween is just him acting like a fucking maniac the whole time, and you're like, "Obviously, I'm in."
I love that movie for a couple reasons. Obviously, also how unhinged Ray Liotta is.
Oh, of course, yeah. You got your
Jesus.
Less than a year out from being in a movie that was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
baby, he's in Hubie Halloween.
Yeah, what does he say? It was like, "I got you, Puby." It's a delight. It's very dumb. Turn your brain off and watch Hubie Halloween. Steve Buscemi, again, proving like he's always the funniest person in those movies.
Oh yeah,
like the funniest.
Also, it proves that Adam Sandler is the nicest guy in show business, because he gets all of these character actors who could do anything,
right?
To drop what they're doing and be like, "Yeah, I'll be in fucking whatever."
Even not even character, like Al Pacino, Jack Nicholson. They're like, they just want to be in those movies because they seem fun. I mean, honestly, if I get cancer and the Make-A-Wish Foundation comes to my door, I'm like, put me in an Adam Sandler movie.
Hell yeah, baby!
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, I've been around him twice, both in comedy club scenarios, and both times I got that vibe of just like, he seems just like a really chill dude. Like, and obviously he makes almost all of his movies he makes them in Hawaii specifically. So it's like, hey, do you want to come hang out in Hawaii for a month and make this fucking dumb movie? And people are like, absolutely, I do. Steve Buscemi was like, I'll be there, baby. No worries. But yeah, no, I mean, the scariest thing I watched way too young.
Yeah, sorry, we got off the rails there on episode.
No. I was going to say the scariest thing I watched when I was way too young was The Little Mermaid.
Dude, I know what you're talking about.
One of my earliest memories. I didn't even make it 5 minutes in. It's not the Ursula stuff. It's the fucking shark at the beginning. I ran screaming from the theaters. It's literally one of my earliest memories was being like, that came out in '89, so I would have been 3 at that point.
Yeah.
running like full speed, just screaming out of the theater with the sharks. So that's
dude.
I was a little baby boy.
Dude, the Ursula shit scared me so much. It's like the scene. There's some specific scene where she's like leaning into the camera and like all of her tentacles are kind of
where she takes her voice. The fucking
It frightened the hell out of me.
Yeah.
What's the all right? Just for on topic though. What's the first horror movie you ever saw?
I'm trying. That's what I was really struggling to think about, and I honestly,
if this counts,
if we're counting this, and it is kind of, it's at least a psychological thriller. Deliverance.
Wow, yeah. My dad loves Deliverance. He was like,
my dad loves Deliverance too. I've told this story on the show before, but I was in Boy Scouts and we were going on our first canoe trip for spring break. And my mom had book club that night, and my dad was like, "Hey, do you want to get KFC and watch a movie? My favorite movie happens to be about a canoe trip." And we fucking got a bucket of KFC and we watched Deliverance. I was 10.
Oh my god, yeah. The squeal scene is something. It's just a good thing to prepare yourself for later on in life.
And also, it was like, we hadn't gone on this canoe trip yet. I had no idea what to expect. We were doing a 50-mile canoe trip down the Tallapoosa River in central Alabama.
That's something you watch after the trip.
That's what so going into this trip, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be terrifying. And then, of course, it was just real fun. Yeah.
I think the first horror movie I saw, if it probably doesn't count, but would you say Jaws? Is it?
Oh, I take it back. Yeah, I saw Jaws. Yeah, Jaws that counts.
Because it's like PG.
100% that counts.
I think that counts. That's probably the first one. And there's gore in it, too. Like, I watched it recently, and it's like, it still holds up. Man, it's a fucking great movie.
Yeah. I mean, like I saw, again, similar lines. I saw Jurassic Park when I was 6.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. But that's also, like, more fun.
Yeah, it's more like a science fiction.
It's kind of hard. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely scary fucking the Velociraptor, because that was the thing. I remember preparing my mind to go into Jurassic Park when I was like 6.
It scared me
because I had seen the preview, that famous preview of the T-Rex foot coming down right in front of Sam Neill and the girl, right? So I was mentally prepared for the T-Rex. So the whole time I'm like, T-Rex, 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 T-Rex. It shows up. I'd mentally prepared for it, and I was like, this is fucking awesome, and I wasn't scared at all.
Right.
I had never heard of a Velociraptor before that day. And then by the end, I was like, oh, fuck, the Velociraptors are so much scarier.
Yeah, right.
It blindsided me with that shit. I didn't know
that part in like the kitchen.
The kitchen scene, yeah.
Used to fucking scare me so bad.
Freaked me out. Yeah. So there's earlier stuff, but I mean, a straight horror movie. Yeah, I don't even know if Deliverance is a good example, but
it wasn't until Marvin brought those over, and it was straight nightmare fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street and Pet Cemetery too.
That'll do it. At Dark Red Burr, recently started listening to the Corona Diaries. It's amusing to hear you guys hope to reach episode 14 of it now that you were at 100, or this is 102. Also, the escape room from episode 8 in Austin, to no one's surprise, seems to have shut down. So that's a good update.
Yeah, it seems.
I remember that. That's hilarious that it was only 8 episodes in. So after 8 days, they were like, it's fine now. Come back to this escape room.
If there's talk about some slough that society needed to just like to shed itself of, like, man, escape rooms, that whole craze was what a Tamagotchi thing. Like, what a Beanie Baby fucking trend. Like, did you see that movie? There's an escape room movie.
What? Oh, God.
And it's so fucking dumb. And like it's like, yeah, the whole thing is like, but they try to make it a Saw movie, but they're in an escape room.
Yeah.
And it's like the world's most elaborate escape rooms. And escape rooms suck. Like, I've been in one, and it was the lamest shit.
I'd forgotten that was episode 8. So that means we started this thing on March 16th. So
March 16th.
March 23rd, up thereabouts.
I was kind of wondering, because I've been keeping a list of like everything I've been listening to and everything, all media. And I was wondering when like it crosses over a year, and I guess it's March 16th of next year.
St. Patrick's Day. That's always going to be my time that I remember
when it started.
For me, yeah. Because I mean, my last stand-up show was I think the 3rd or 4th, something like that. But then St. Patrick's Day. That was like when the lockdown started. I think at least here.
It's also the day I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, March 16th. So that will be when we're a year into the pandemic. I will have been here for 2 years.
Jesus. At Spud Axford, favorite jam of the day, and then in parentheses it says, I don't even think it was a jam of the day, but Motley Crue's Tribes will forever astound me. We talked about this is where you were gone.
You're right.
Somebody alerted us to the fact that Motley Crue made a theme song for the early 2000s video game Tribes 2.
No shit. I used to have that game.
Well, so we think because the song, you can hear it on YouTube, and it's literally the interviews that Nikki Sixx is doing about it is he's just like, man, we worked really hard with their team. We were trying to make our sound mix perfectly with theirs, and I think we did it, man. We were able to perfectly, seamlessly integrate the Motley Crue energy perfectly into the game Tribes 2. And he's just going on and on about how hard they worked on it. And then you listen to the song, and it's literally just this boring Motley Crue, like, chugga, like, and then literally it's just Vince Neil going, Tribes! For 2 minutes. There are no other words. It's just Tribes.
That's awesome. Like those games, I forget what Tribes is also like it's like a offshoot of some other PC game.
Oh,
but it was just during that time, like there was a bunch of bands doing a bunch of tie-ins. Well, video game tie-ins were like the thing back then, like for computer games.
Yeah,
but it was like Iron Maiden did one. Like they had a game called Ed Hunter, I think.
Yeah, I think Kiss had just done one.
Yeah. But even like Breakfast Cereal, like there was a computer game for Chex.
That was a good game.
Chex Quest.
You remember
that shit?
Chex Quest. Yeah, it was just Doom, but there was no blood. There was just slime.
Yeah, and you like zapped people with a remote control.
Chex Quest was good. I remember that game.
That one was like surprisingly good. I remember I got probably the only box of Chex I've ever gotten to get that game.
yeah.
But yeah, Tribes 2 is. I did not know Motley Crue did a Tribes soundtrack.
Yeah, we talked about it. It was very funny. Favorite jam of the day? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm always constantly chasing the high of Only God Knows Why. Mainly because of that one comment, and I couldn't find it because this was before I started. Now I kind of go through and copy and paste the comments. I used to just do screenshots on my phone, so this is lost and gone. I'll have to go back and listen to the episode to know exactly what they said, but this person was basically just like, this is what I want played at my funeral, and there are certain people who will not be invited. Or like it was just like people. It was just like very cryptic. It was like, you will play this at my fucking funeral. I will not. I love
people's personal vendettas that they take to the comment section. That's always like
so fucking funny.
I think what you want from one of those. I think we've trying to discuss the alchemy of a good jam of the day, and it's like you want something that is for sure like a Pillhead anthem. Yeah. But like is going to bring out like the dark side of someone's. Like it's not so fun where it's just like, hell yeah, I'm drunk right now. You want someone that like, I remember, like, this makes me think of being sent to, like, that's Only God Knows Why is perfect for that. Because, it's like everyone's, like, getting out of jail.
Because it's sentimental, but not directly sentimental. So there's not a whole lot of.
There's, like, life's tough, man.
Yeah.
Life's tough.
Well, life is tough. Carter, tell people where they can find you online.
You can find me, Carter_Glasscock on Twitter and Instagram. And you can go to my website, carterglasscock.com.
Motherfucking Victorville. We're in a park with Justin Morales. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, man.
To my neck of the woods.
Yeah. So, how long have you lived in Victorville?
I don't live in Victorville. Actually, I live in the next town below in Hesperia.
Oh, Hesperia. Okay. Yeah. I passed through there on the way here. Yeah, we came to Victorville, by the way, for two purposes. Podcasting, Cracker Barrel. And we've accomplished both here today because we just finished recording a Patreon episode coming soon to patreon.com/thegoodspod, all about Shaquille O'Neal's 1997 box office bomb, Steel, available now on HBO Max. Had a good time talking about it. I fell asleep during the last, heroic action sequence of the film. So I don't know how I felt about watching it, but it's definitely fun talking about it with you, and definitely fun chowing down on some goddamn country fried steak and okra, all that good shit. So
it's been a while since I've had Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, man.
Good. I've been waiting for this.
Mm-hmm.
I was fasting for over 18 hours for this, so
hell
I was really excited. You saw what I ate. Like I really feasted.
How was it? What you got? The loaded hash brown casserole.
It's like, I guess it's new. I've never seen it before. Loaded hash brown casserole. It had like onion straws on it and cheese and
eggs,
bacon.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Then I got the country fried steak with egg whites and hash brown casserole on the side with biscuits.
We literally made a meal of it.
I'm probably done for the rest of the day, but
you think so?
Yeah.
Man,
I got to keep my figure, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have to worry about that at all. There's a pretty significantly large array of chain restaurants right there on that little strip there in the middle of Victorville.
The mall is right there. That's why. So that's where I go to
They got
get some food.
They got the damn Chili's. They got the damn Panera. They got Freddy's, the custard.
Have you been to Freddy's before?
They have one in Auburn, actually, next to the movie theater.
I love Freddy's.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
I think the closest one down there it's in like Thousand Oaks.
Yeah.
Down by LA.
I'd never even heard of it until they put one in the parking lot of the new movie theater they built down in Alabama, where I'm from.
I love it so much.
Yeah, so I saw that. I was like, damn, I might get something to go and heat it up tonight while I'm out here. No reason to let a good row of great chain restaurants go to waste. I saw those while we were recording the podcast about Steel. There's a couple sitting in. We're in the middle of a park here, sitting a safe distance apart, and at the table next to us, there was a couple chowing down on some Red Lobster they got to go, which means that I could get a real ass Dugarita.
The homemade ones aren't working for you anymore.
Well, I'll tell you. I found out what the X ingredient was that I was missing. I found out a shocking bit about the Dugarita, the real thing. Shout out to there's some bartender who does a YouTube show where he kind of recreates. He shows you how to make certain cocktails and tries to recreate the Dugarita from the original. And he did what I did essentially, which was just made a margarita with Mountain Dew in it. But when you do that, no pun intended, when you do that, the liquid in the glass is not that neon green color that it is in the photo. Because when you see the photo on the Red Lobster website, you're like, I've never seen a Mountain Dew that looks like that, let alone a Mountain Dew alcohol thing. Why is it that neon-ass color? And it's because, unlike a regular margarita, which is, tequila, lime juice, if you're fancy Grand Marnier or triple sec, I was just doing Dugaritas, just straight Dew and tequila, and those were great. But if you're not a total trash monster, you'll put some Grand Marnier or triple sec in there. It's all of that, but the X ingredient, and the thing that makes it that freaky neon color, Midori. It's got watermelon liqueur, Midori watermelon liqueur in there, and that's why it's that crazy green color. But the most shocking thing I found out about the Dugarita, the big question was, what is the red on the glass, on the rim? Because in the photo, you see that neon green Mountain Dew with the tequila, little lime slice, and then around the rim, you see something red and crystalline. Mm-hmm. And like many people, I assumed it was tahini. It was the chili lime spice that they put on watermelons and mangoes and shit out here, which is what I did for mine. So I, wet the rim with a lime, flip it upside down, pop it down into some tahini, and it was so good. It was like an incredible.
So yours is almost an original creation.
Yeah, basically. Well, it turns out I did, I think, what everybody did, which is they just kind of made it the way it looked. Do you know what the actual thing on the rim is?
What is it?
It's red sugar.
Red sugar?
Yeah, like a margarita. It's got salt on the rim. Goddamn Red Lobster. It's fucking like red sugar, like you'd put on a cake. You don't need more sugar in this. It's already Midori and Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
That's a crazy amount of sugar. So so I'll say this. I haven't tried it with the Midori yet, but I'll go ahead and tell you my tahini rim beats the shit out of a sugar rim, and I've never even had a sugar rim on this thing. But anyway, point is, right near a Red Lobster. Apparently,
so we could Dugarita to go. You thinking?
Yeah, man, you can do it. I can do it. We can all do it. We can do the Dug. I don't know. The problem is I have to drive back, and I'm like, would I be able to fight the temptation of drinking and driving a Dugarita? And then also, would I be able to live down the shame of being pulled over for drinking and driving a Dugarita? So
yeah, it's probably not the best idea.
Yeah. It's because then I'd have to tell them to like make it without ice, so the ice wouldn't melt in there. It'd be a whole thing. So maybe I don't know. I'm going to tell you.
Get one right before you get home.
I was about to say, I'm going to tell you that we don't got no Red Lobster.
No?
I mean, the closest Red Lobster I know of is in like Valencia, like near Six Flags. There may be one closer, but that's the only one I've seen like around LA. So that's why I'm saying I would have to do it here, because apparently we got one out here. We got access to one. So, let's talk, man, because we haven't chatted since the last WPW show back in February.
How long ago was that now? What month is it?
It is
October.
So that would be 8 months ago. It's been way too long, man.
Yeah.
So after that show, I think we had about maybe a week and a half of normalcy left at that point, which we didn't even really know, I guess, really at that point. I mean, I'm sure if I had been paying more attention to the news, but I was in full on, I'm not listening to any of this garbage mode at that point because of the political scene and not because of COVID. I was aware of COVID.
Yeah,
but
I was definitely aware of COVID. I remember when you, Sam, and Carter came to Cracker Barrel and we recorded
the Goodfellas. Yeah,
Goodfellas podcast. I'd been sick like the week before that, and that was the most I'd ever been sick. I was, stuck in bed.
Oh shit!
Could not move. Used all my sick days. It was like the worst sore throat, worst headache, worst fever I've ever had. And it took maybe like 5 days straight. And maybe like 10 days after I first got sick, I was feeling a little better to leave the house.
Yeah.
But I remember like joking around. I beat Corona. I had it and I beat it. Because I do remember I went to Disneyland one of the last weekends in January. After I read a report, like first confirmed COVID case in Orange County in Anaheim. So I'm like, and then I got sick 2 days later. So then I was thinking maybe I got COVID at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I never went back until like.
Did you find out officially if you had it or not?
So I ended up, I'd say maybe June or July. I did a blood test for COVID antibodies, but it came out negative.
Yeah.
But then I guess they're also saying antibodies might not last in your body for a long time. Jesus. So you could have had it and now your antibodies are gone because I guess it's such a new thing that your body doesn't know what it is, so it doesn't keep producing the antibodies or something.
What's crazy is now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, we recorded that episode in a car where you, me, Sam, and Carter were just chilling in a minivan recording into this very recorder. So hell, maybe I got it. No, I don't know. What's crazy is a friend of mine had a similar situation where he was just the most sick he had ever been right at the beginning of when it was all going down, and all the same symptoms that they say about coronavirus. But then he got a test and they were like, no, you didn't have it. And it's like, what the fuck is this one then? What are you talking about? So that's even scarier. It's almost better to be like, well, I had this.
And then I was this was maybe April. I ended up going to the emergency room. I was just having really bad headaches and dizziness. Like I couldn't get up and walk. And I was driving to work. I had to like pull over. It's like I can't drive. I'm so dizzy. Headaches, like worse headaches. And then I went to the ER and they tested everything. Everything was okay, but I ended up going to see my doctor and he's like, we don't have tests to get you tested. So it's like you might have this because some of the fatigue, I couldn't. I'd be up for 10 minutes and I feel like I've been up for 10 hours. But he's like, we don't have these tests right now. So as long as like you're feeling okay, just like if anything else happens, like come back, go to the emergency room. But they couldn't get me tested, so I possibly could have had it at some point this year.
Jeez, man.
But that's the craziest thing, especially early on. It was so scary.
Yeah, I bet. God, and it was
when you're actually like not feeling well, and it just gets in your head that maybe I have this, and you start driving yourself crazy a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not to pull away from something very serious to something very silly, but God damn it, if it wasn't right when we were starting the best angle that anyone's come up with in wrestling, pro wrestling. Huh? And that was going to be your big push, baby. You got your push delayed. We had that
planned for a while.
What happens to a push deferred?
I don't know.
If you're not following the story, youtube.com/wrestlingprowrestling, you can see everything. The last show we did, we were running a damn angle where all of the people who had been frying panned by Tony Jeff the Frying Pan Man and had their identities lost, all of a sudden we're now back to war with WPW, very much like NWO with WCW.
I do remember that last show we did where Cereal Man revealed himself.
Yeah, dude, Cereal Man turned into Hollywood Cereal Man. Yeah. God, what
the biggest turn of all time in all of wrestling.
And I got to do my full on, I knew it.
Is he the 14th man or
yeah, that's right. That's right. Is he the 14th man?
Or is he the 13th man or whatever?
I forgot about
we had we had way too many people coming out.
That was so funny. Is he Cereal Man?
Or is he the 37th man?
Is he the 37th? I'll have to go back and watch.
This is can somebody stop him?
This is
wait a minute.
Cereal Man!
It's Cereal Man!
But wait a minute. Back.
Wait
But whose side is he on?
No, he's got it. What are you talking about?
Whose side is he on?
Rivers, what are you talking about?
He's clearly here to help out.
I don't know. This guy has been a problem.
Wait, no. Oh, no.
It can't be.
Wow.
He's the 8th man.
He's the 18th man. I told you he was bad news.
Serial Man is the 18th man.
He is the 22nd man.
He's the 39th member of Pro Wrestling Pro.
And that's just the A team. There's like 70 guys in the B team.
Because, I got to, whatever it was, I was just screaming it. And Pat and Eric were just like, will you stop? That's ridiculous. And then he did the leg drop just like Hogan.
You go to hell, Serial Man.
Oh, God. It's so God damn it. It's so, obviously.
We collectively shut the world down with that show.
Seriously, dude.
But I was at that show talking to guys that I know some wrestlers. They were about to head to Japan for wrestling. And then one of the guys was at the show and he's like, yeah, they just canceled our trip. They're not letting anyone come in to Japan. And then that's how that I kind of realized that day. It's like, oh, maybe this is like pretty serious.
Yeah, man.
It got serious real quick because it was just it was like jokes.
It was
just
so
like,
quick.
We were just making jokes and it's like, oh, that can't affect us or we'll be okay. Or,
I remember my last stand-up show at West Side Comedy Theater. I was sitting in the green room and I think that day or the day before was when everybody started talking about, everything shutting down. And I remember sitting in the green room and just being like, damn, there's a lot of people. We sold out. That last show was sold out. It was packed. And I was just like, there's a lot of people here for this. Like, it's
looking back, you think like someone probably had it like in that building.
Dude, like I go back and watch my last comedy set and I literally opened the set by being like, I can't believe y'all are here. I can't believe that this many people are here. It's such a crazy, serious time. But yeah, it's just weird to think about. But yeah, that was one of the last things we did. And it was so goddamn.
It was a good way to end. Like,
yeah. I mean, if that's the last one I ever call, went out on a good one, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so funny. Is he the 37th man? It's too good. Have you been watching any wrestling? I know you've been working in wrestling, and I don't know what capacity you can describe to people, but what have you been watching wrestling wise? And I kind of talked to Darwin Finch about this.
Yeah.
And my opinions have slightly changed since then, because since I talked to Darwin, they have unveiled over at WWE the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Me too.
I think it's great.
When it first started, I was watching because I was home a lot more, and I was like, of course, I want to watch like new programming,
Right.
Because like they were showing a lot of reruns of other shows, and there's nothing new going on besides wrestling, as unsafe as it probably was back then.
Right.
But now they brought in this Thunderdome, and since I am a professional wrestler, not active for obvious reasons, COVID, I was asked to go to Florida to do extra work for WWE. This was maybe like April, so they were still at the Performance Center with no fans. But I was still in the mindset of like, you fucking crazy? Like, why would I go to Florida?
Yeah,
why would I do anything? Why would I get on an airplane?
Right.
So I was like, no thanks. Like, I'll pass. They even like offered to pay like for the flight, for the hotel, for everything. I'm like, no thanks. Like, and then I was offered again to go like in November, but they asked me like a couple weeks ago. But again, I was like, when I like to travel, I like to go do things.
Yeah.
And it seems like, not only is like stuff open, you can go to Disney World if you wanted to, but it's like, I'm scared to go to these places.
Right. Yeah.
And they're just so open about no one's wearing a mask, no one's distancing. And that's the thing. It's like, I'd want to go, I'd want to explore and see the sights and that kind of stuff. And that's honestly kind of my motivation to go do something like that right now. It's like, let's go see the country and places I haven't been.
Yeah, exactly.
But with all this going on, I'm like, that's going to have to wait for a long time.
Yeah, or at the very least, like, go to somewhere that's not Orlando, which is...
I'd like to go, honestly, to D.C. and see all those memorials again, because I've been there years and years ago, but now it's like... I actually understand a lot of the history of where I'm at now.
Yeah, the problem
with
DC is, again, it's a fun city to walk around. The main thing I want to see in DC is go to all the damn museums. You know,
yeah,
go
I went to a few, when I was a kid.
That's the shit, and it's like I don't know if I'm really trying to go inside the Smithsonian for any. I don't even know if they're open at the moment.
They might be,
but so I most of my places that I've been kind of either gone or have planned to go have been nature stuff. So, you know, we've been driving around in the mountains and stuff when they're not on fire, going out to the beach, not on the weekends when there's a bazillion people, but like during the week when there's nobody, that kind of thing.
Chill. But to answer your question, I haven't watched much wrestling lately because my favorite sports teams were playing. So those games took precedent over watching wrestling. I follow like mostly on Twitter and just follow I'll watch the videos that pop up, but I'm not sitting there watching the programs as much anymore.
I'm kind of like you. I watch a Raw here and there, but yeah, it's a lot of clips and everything like that. But I have been enjoying the Thunderdome thing. The one thing I think that is funny that somebody proved officially by using 2 comparison videos is that for the crowd noise they have just been using WWE 2K20.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's what they use for like the "This is awesome" chants and the fucking like all.
Oh, that's right. They do.
It's
that,
just a guy mixing just the stem files from the crowd noise from WWE 2K.
Because they were doing that with the baseball games. They were piping in the crowd noise. They had the cardboard cutouts, but then
I saw
piping in the cheers and stuff, which was weird because you could see, especially in a baseball stadium, 50,000 people you could put in there, but there's nobody there and you're hearing all that noise.
Right.
So it was so weird at first, but I've gotten used to it.
Yeah.
But now they actually have crowds and they're playing the games in Texas right now.
Oh,
so there's 10,000 people in the stands. Again, so we'll go back to wrestling. In Japan, they're about 50% capacity with arena crowds.
Oh man.
And they give them rules you have to wear your face mask.
Right.
Please don't cheer or yell or scream or do anything.
Yeah.
And just clap to make noise. And that's exactly what they do.
And that's kind of standard for people who are not big wrestling fans. As far as Japanese wrestling goes, it is a very kind of quiet sort of crowd usually.
But the most important thing is they're following direction.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's how they're progressing very well over there.
Right.
Look at what's going on. They're opening more stuff, and their case count is really, really low. So it's just such a difference. Watching Japanese wrestling last weekend, and people going crazy, but they're just clapping, and everyone's having such a great time at these shows, and we're still having people I don't have to wear a mask. I was somewhere the other day. It's what do you mean I have to wear a mask inside?
Jesus, lady.
It's
guy.
It's been 9 months.
How long has it been? Yeah.
Some days are good, but then some days I don't want to be here.
Yeah. It's a little better in LA. Everybody's pretty much on board. If you see somebody without the damn thing, you're just
start mean mugging.
Everybody starts mean mugging them, So that's what I said. I'm going back to the South for the holidays, and I am a little bit I just don't want to be getting into it with some guy at the goddamn grocery store about this shit. So
you're just gonna be at home the whole time?
Pretty much, yeah. I think because that's unfortunately half the fun of going back to the South is hanging out with my friends, and I'm I'm not going to be doing that too much unless it's something like this. I've already started setting up. I'm all right, I think it'd be cool if we went to a park and played frisbee, because that would be something to do. We could bullshit, and we're not, as long as we get to bring the Germ-X and shit. So
are your parents pretty good about staying safe?
For sure. Yeah. My dad was my dad's a scientist, and
oh shit.
he taught physics. He had Walter White's exact job. He taught physics and chemistry in high school for 35 years. So he's
sure he's not a drug dealer?
Yeah. Well, when he watched Breaking Bad, his reaction to it was, how did this guy get so much time off? And I was like, Dad, well, he had cancer. It's still, I worked for 35 years. I didn't get enough time off to do all that. That was his big gripe with Breaking Bad. But my parents are taking it seriously. I don't think any of their friends are, which is worrisome. But I'm not worried about them. I am just worried about catching fucking flack at the grocery store about this shit.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, have you seen anything weird at the grocery store while all this has been going on?
When this first started, there was panic at the grocery store. Luckily, we shop at Costco, and we picked up plenty of toilet paper before all this happened. So we were good with toilet paper and that kind of stuff. But I remember just getting snacks for work, take to work, like protein bars and stuff. I was in the peanut butter section, and I just remember like this woman, like this couple, this woman and her husband or someone. The woman's just looking at her phone because I live in Hesperia, California. So the next city up is Victorville, where we're at right now. And the woman was on her phone like, oh my gosh, there's a new case in Victorville. Corona. And then like...
and it's me! And her head just starts spinning around like The Exorcist.
And then down the aisle, some lady like pops around and is like, wait, what? Like, like, did you hear that? And she tells the person she's with. God. And I'm like, this is how a riot starts. This is how panic starts.
Oh, for sure. It's like The Thing or something.
This is the worst thing that could happen. Just people freaking out.
Kurt Russell with the blood test and shit.
Yeah. You stand
Which
over
one is
there.
it? Which one is it?
Tie him up.
Yeah.
But just seeing that kind of thing in person, like for the first time, like people legit just getting themselves worried for no reason. It's like, just chill.
Yeah.
Go be safe, go home, and there's no point of causing a panic.
Right.
But I remember pretty early on too, not the grocery store, but I was picking up some food and I was putting my mask on in my car, and either someone texted me or did something where I didn't immediately get out of the car. I was sitting there with my mask on, like texting somebody. And then someone knocks at my window on my door, and I'm like, can I help you? And then the guy's like knocking on my door, and he goes, what, you got Corona in your car or something? Why are you wearing a mask in your car?
Because I'm about to get out. Move, asshole.
Yeah. It's like, well, even if I was wearing a mask in my car, that's me. That's me. That's
my
me.
business.
Yeah.
Mind your own.
Those kind of people who just start stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, this has been fertile ground for people who just want to start some bullshit, for sure.
But other than that, it's like it's been really cool lately at work. Like everyone's cool with wearing masks, and no one makes a big deal.
What about your neighbors? Have your neighbors been doing anything weird?
Two of my neighbors on the left and right side, I've never seen them.
Okay.
I've lived here for 6 years now in this house. The neighbors behind us, they have like a pool, and they're Mexican, so they never stopped.
Oh, yeah? Just pool party every day?
Yeah. They always play good music.
Okay.
So I'm never like... I'm not going to call the police on them.
Yeah.
Like, someone else can.
Right.
But I was like, they're playing like Zap and stuff. It's like, I'm not going to turn them down.
Would you say Zappa?
Yeah, or Zap.
Oh, Zap.
Yeah.
Zap and Roger.
Yeah, Zap and Roger.
Featured in the Shaquille O'Neal movie Steel. I thought you said Zappa. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's really it though. Like, there's a lot of Trump flags in my neighborhood though.
You know, I've said many times on the show, people assume California is this very, very liberal hippy dippy state. It's like, man, I'm an hour and 18 minutes east of Los Angeles, and this is definitely Trump country.
We see more of the Trump flags and those kind of, but I think there's not as many as you think out here.
Yeah,
it's like for the most part, like I said, I go to the store and everything, never have a problem. People are totally good wearing masks, staying apart. Especially, that's the impressive thing too, like the markers on the floor, like at Target. Everyone stays apart. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's those kind of supporters who are very loud about it too.
Right.
They're wearing the shirts and they got the flags on their cars.
Oh, God. Yeah.
There's by the Carl's Jr. So I'll take like the side roads to like a Carl's Jr. And there was like a line of streets. There's like a line down the street of like 5 houses in a row, Trump flags, like Trump signs on the yard.
This is Victorville is basically, for people that don't know, it's the desert. We are currently surrounded by, I'd say a good 90% of all the trees in Victorville are in this park.
Yeah. I've never been here before too. It's nice.
It's a pretty park. Yeah. Liberty Park. Justin, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheJustinMo.
Give him a follow, and of course, head over to patreon.com/thegoodspod. Justin and I chatting about Steel, starring Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
So definitely want to tune in for that. And Justin, let's not make it another 8 months.
Yeah, definitely. Is this going to be out before the election?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. So please go out there and vote. Please do your part.
I already did it.
Fuck Donald Trump. Anyone that supports him.
Absolutely.
Black Lives Matter. Please get out there and vote. Make a change.
Thanks again, man. We'll talk soon.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Once again, that was Justin Morales. Definitely go give him a follow. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley. And as I mentioned at the top, best way to support the show, patreon.com/thegoodspod. $5 a month. Join the Tower of Power. Or head over to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Show the attitude of gratitude, because if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, Daddy, fuck you. We'll see you next time. Oh, hello. For my final spooky selection this Halloween season, I want to talk about New York City in the year that spanned the summers of 1976 and 1977. This place and time would prove to be one of the most culturally important and simultaneously terrifying eras of American history. This is the time when disco and punk were having their big year in their corners of Manhattan, while hip-hop was beginning to take off in the Bronx. Also, all over the city, there was a madman on the loose, shooting random couples while they sat in their cars. By July of 1977, the killer, known as the Son of Sam, had murdered 5 people completely at random with a .44 caliber handgun. New York residents were terrified, and that terror would only be amplified even further when the entire city lost power during a brutal heat wave on July 13th. During the blackout, there were widespread incidents of arson and looting. The fire department responded to over 1,000 fires, and the New York Police Department arrested 3,776 people. It was the largest mass arrest in city history. Then, as if that wasn't enough, 2 weeks later, after the lights came back on, the Son of Sam shot another couple sitting in their car. Stacy Moskowitz and Robert Violante were on their first date. They were parked near Bath Beach in Brooklyn when the Son of Sam crept up on their car and shot them both. Stacy died. Robert lost an eye. He got lucky. Less than a month later, the NYPD got lucky too. The killer left his car in front of a fire hydrant on the night of the murder and had gotten himself a parking ticket. A witness saw him get in the car with the ticket on the window, so it was just a matter of the cops looking it up. That's what led them to 24-year-old postal worker David Berkowitz. On August 10th, Berkowitz finally got a gun shoved in his face while he was sitting in his car. He put his hands up, told the NYPD detectives simply, "Well, you got me." Berkowitz would later say that he was insane, famously telling the judge that his killing spree was inspired by the orders of a demon that lived inside his neighbor's dog. It didn't get him off. He's still sitting in jail. While all this is going on, there's this band from Rhode Island, a favorite at the Bowery Punk Club CBGB's, and just on the precipice of putting out their first album. Talking Heads 77 would be released just a month and change after the arrest of the Son of Sam. The penultimate track on that record seemed to sum up what the city had just been through. The weird thing is, David Byrne wrote the song Psycho Killer way before the Son of Sam's reign of terror. With its pumping, anxious heartbeat bass line and David Byrne's idiosyncratic vocal performance in English and a little bit of broken French, the song was originally only a minor hit when it was released the next year as a single, but has since gone on to be one of the Talking Heads' most recognizable and popular songs. So while it is a spooky song, I don't wish to simply leave you this Halloween with the dour note of this great song having a bit of synchronicity with terrible real-life events. Furthermore, fuck David Berkowitz. No. Instead, I wish to tell you the incredible fact that, at least according to David Byrne, Psycho Killer is the first song he ever wrote. I don't just mean for the Talking Heads. I mean ever. David Byrne had played in cover bands before forming Talking Heads with Tina Weymouth and Chris France at the Rhode Island School of Design. But this song is his first original, and it's one of the most iconic songs of all time. So, as we begin the big wind down of what will certainly be the craziest year of all of our lives before immediately beginning the most uncertain, keep Psycho Killer in mind. Not everyone is going to knock it out of the park as hard as David Byrne did the first time he tried something new creatively, but you'll never know that until you do it. Happy Halloween. Do what thou wilt. And now, I have a spooky tape I want to play.
bed's on fire. Don't touch me, I'm a real live wire. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. You start a conversation, you can't even finish it. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. When I have nothing to say, my lips are sealed. Say something once, why say it again? Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, oh. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Ce que j'ai fait ce soir-là, ce qu'elle a dit ce soir-là. Réalisons mon espoir. Je me lance vers les bras ouverts. Yeah, 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 yeah. We are vain and we are blind. I hate people when they're not polite. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est? Fa 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 fa. Better run, 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 run away. Oh, oh, oh. Psycho killer, qu'est-ce que c'est?